Which Big 12 teams have the most prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft? Find out in this video. The Big 12 does have a good chunk of solid teams, but the order of these rankings might shock you. If you're new, subscribe to the channel as I'm doing draft content all year long. But for now, I'm Chase Keller, and welcome to the best 2025 NFL Draft prospects from every Big 12 school. Enjoy. There are three teams that do not have anyone inside the top 224, which is the current draft order without compensatory picks. Those three teams are Texas Tech in 16th, Iowa State in 15th, and TCU in 14th. I do apologize for how short this video is going to be, but the SEC had 86 prospects, the Big 10 has 52, and the Big 12 only has 25. And there are a bunch of teams that have only one prospect inside the current draft order, and that tiebreaker will be broken by whoever has the highest ranked prospect. The team with the lowest ranked prospect is the UCF Knights, whose prospect is ranked 209th. Edge rusher Malachi Lawrence went for 7.5 sacks and 10.5 tackles for loss in his sophomore season. After a Big 12 honorable mention selection in 2023, he looks to capitalize off that and become a worthy NFL draftee for the 2025 NFL Draft. With only one prospect inside the top 224 on Mock Draft Database, the UCF Knights rank 13th on this list. In the 12th slot on this list, we have another 2023 conference edition with the BYU Cougars. The prospect they have is 6th-year senior linebacker Ben Bywater, who was hurt in the 2023 season. He will enter his 4th year as the starting linebacker of BYU, and he impacts as both an aware coverage defender and an agile run defender. 247 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 3 pass breakups is not a bad resume at all. With only one prospect in the 2025 NFL Draft, the BYU Cougars rank 12th in the Big 12. Also with one prospect in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baylor Bears rank 11th on this list. That prospect would have been the 3rd straight year where a Texas Tech edge rusher gets selected, but Steve Linton decided to transfer over to Baylor. The 6th-year player also played for Syracuse, and he has racked up 67 tackles and 8 sacks throughout his career. He's really lean for an edge rusher, but his athleticism and explosiveness are top-notch for the position. With Linton being their only prospect, the Baylor Bears rank 11th on this list. Moving into the 10th spot on this list, the Arizona State Sun Devils cracked the top 10 with their one prospect. Their prospect is wide receiver Xavier Guillory, and while he didn't produce much last season as a Sun Devil, I would call it season a wash. He transferred in from Idaho State, and in his 1 year with Arizona State, he bulked up 15 pounds. Now he's got to prove himself. He's a big guy, so he can really be valuable as a jump ball receiver for teams at the next level. With one prospect in the top 224 picks on Mock Draft Database, the Arizona State Sun Devils rank 10th in this Big 12 prospect ranking. A team that I am shocked is this low only has one prospect as well. That team is the Kansas State Wildcats. This team has been really good over the last 3 seasons, and even cornerback Jacob Parrish is someone that I am shocked isn't higher. He allowed only 50% of his targets to be caught last season, and he also only let 2 balls get past him in the end zone. And for the basic stat watchers, also in 2023, he picked off 4 passes and broke up another 7. With that one prospect being their only though, the Kansas State Wildcats make a surprising appearance in the 9th spot. The Houston Cougars also have only one prospect for the 2025 NFL Draft, but this one's a pretty big one. Quarterback Donovan Smith is a potential gem in a very weak quarterback class, primarily because he's a dual threat. He's nothing to adore as a passer just yet, primarily because he still struggles to find consistency in his reads. But as a runner, He's going to be sought out as that Justin Fields type impact on the football field, but I'd more compare him to Malik Cunningham right now. With Smith being the only prospect for the Cougars, Houston ranks at number 8 on this list. And we finally wrap up the one prospect teams as we move on to the 7th slot, where the Cincinnati Bearcats appear. They are up this high because defensive tackle Dante Corleone is a potential second-round selection. He's got the mix of power, explosiveness off the snap, and awareness to be able to impact as both a pass defender and a run defender. After an impressive sophomore season, he has a huge prove-it year coming up to see if he can maintain that day 2 stock. With only one prospect in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bearcats rank 7th in the Big 12. We are more than halfway done with this list as we enter the 2 prospect teams, the first of the bunch being the Utah Utes. They have gone 5 of the last 6 years with a prospect selected in the first 2 days of the draft. With this year, their best prospect is Brant Kuithe, and that streak could be broken as a result. Ranked 135th, the tight end prospect is entering his 7th year of college football after missing most of 2022 and all of 2023 with the same injury. The reliable receiving tight end looks to recover and become 100% again. After him, linebacker Lander Barton is an athletic linebacker who can use that athleticism to both blitz and drop back into coverage, sometimes even man coverage. He's got a huge season going into 2024, his first draft eligible season. With a total of 2 prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Utah Utes rank 6th on this list. The Oklahoma State Cowboys have one of the best players in this entire draft, which helps them rank 5th on this list. That player is running back Ollie Gordon II, the reigning Doak Walker Award winner, who could be the number 1 running back in the 2025 draft. He's got the explosiveness off the handoff, the vision behind the line, the receiving ability to catch the ball as well, the list goes on. If he capitalizes off of last season with similar numbers, I don't see why he shouldn't be a first-round pick. Also on the board is Colin Oliver, who has been an impact as an edge rusher ever since joining the Cowboys. Oliver has great athleticism when rushing the passer, and even if he doesn't have the play strength, he can still rush from the inside. He is extremely hard to block. The Oklahoma State Cowboys have 2 prospects in this upcoming draft, which ranks them 5th on this Big 12 prospect list. Moving on to the 2 teams with 3 prospects in this upcoming draft, the high upside Kansas Jayhawks rank 4th on this list. All 3 of these players could have entered the draft last year, but they decided to stay at school, beginning with cornerback Kobe Bryant. Bryant is a very good man corner with the fluidity and the instincts to anticipate the pass coming his way. His ball skills show out as a result, with 9 interceptions and 13 pass breakups in his 3-year career. After him comes running back Devin Neal, who is a very athletic running back whose open field ability will make teams love him. Even after going for his 2nd straight 1,000 rushing yards season, he still decided to return to school. Sure, he could improve on his blocking ability and his ability to break tackles physically, but I still thought he was worthy enough to be a potential day 2 pick in the 2024 draft. And funny enough, ranked 224th in the 224 pick draft order at the moment, quarterback Jalen Daniels just scrapes out a spot here. He's fairly undersized for the position, but he has some fantastic rushing traits with some good passing traits that teams won't want to pass up, pun intended. With those 3 prospects in the top 224, the Kansas Jayhawks rank 4th on this list. As we get into the top 3 on this prospect list, the Arizona Wildcats shocked so many people last year. With a total of 3 prospects in the top 224, The Arizona Wildcats actually have all 3 of those in the top 41 according to Mock Draft Database. Beginning with wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan, who was the highest ranked signee in Arizona football history coming out of the class of 2022. He's gone for over 2,000 receiving yards in his 2-year career so far with the Wildcats, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that he is a 3-level threat. He's a big-bodied player. He's got some of the best hands in all of football. He's a very good route runner, and so on and so forth. After McMillan, cornerback Takario Davis is a player who has developed so much since joining Arizona. He broke out in 2023, showing great traits out of both man and zone coverage, and allowing a passer rating of only 76.9. His athletic profile could use some tuning, but overall, he's a pretty good cornerback prospect. And then offensive tackle Jonah Savanaia is the 3rd and final prospect to look at, but he's got some very intriguing versatility to his name. He's played both inside and outside with Arizona, but he looks to solidify himself as a tackle prospect, being the starting right tackle for the Wildcats this year. But his frame and blocking strengths could keep him inside in the NFL. That's why he's going to be fun to look at this year. With 3 2025 NFL draft prospects, the Arizona Wildcats rank 3rd on this list. The top 2 were very shocking to me, especially this one, not because of how good they are, but because of the recognition that the West Virginia Mountaineers have not gotten over the last few years. After a good year and a Mayo Bowl W in 2023, they are now tied for the most prospects inside the top 224 for this conference. Beginning with offensive tackle Wyatt Milam, he has surrendered 0 sacks over the last 2 seasons, both seasons being the Mountaineers' starting left tackle. He has a great combination of athleticism and physicality, but that athleticism is what brings me in. He has the upfield speed and the recovery speed to, if he loses a rep, he can finish it very strong. Afterwards, safety Aubrey Burks begins a line of later day 3 picks that snuck their way into this list. Burks is a contender to switch over to cornerback because of his athleticism, fluidity in man coverage, and his struggles in zone coverage. Defensive line prospect Sean Martin might be playing edge with the Mountaineers, but he is probably going to be switching over to defensive tackle in the NFL. He's got that filled out build mixed in with the hand technique and pass rush arsenal to be a team's #1 pass rushing option on the inside. And finally, the edge rusher on the opposite side of Martin in Ty French is ranked 209th on the consensus big board. As a transfer from Gardner-Webb, he looks to bring over that top-notch production that he had in the Big South OVC Conference over to the Big 12 Conference. With 4 prospects in the top 224, the West Virginia Mountaineers are your Big 12 runner-up for most prospects on the team. And finally, the Big 12 team with the most prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft is none other than the Colorado Buffaloes. Many people aren't going to like this, and I promise that these aren't my own personal rankings, but Colorado truly does have a good chunk of draft prospects. Just like I did for Ohio State, I'm not going to go over this team as much in depth as I have for the previous teams. And why is that? Well, I have a video coming out this Tuesday about the Colorado football team and if they are legitimate, and twisting it into a draft outlook. But because it will have a different format than my Ohio State video, here's a quick brief overview. The #1 consensus player in Travis Hunter is a two-way player who isn't elite at either position that he plays, but just the fact that he can play both ways is going to give him an interesting draft value. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders is a controversial top 10 placement to some, but he has undoubtable strengths in escapability and improvising. Defensive back Shiloh Sanders isn't the best DB prospect in this draft, but him having his best year with Colorado in 2023 does bring him a good amount of upside. And wide receiver Will Shepherd had a few good years with Vanderbilt, and now he looks to take over as Shedeur Sanders' #1 wideout in 2024. With those 4 prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Colorado Buffaloes win by tiebreaker in this Big 12 prospect ranking. Well, those are the best 2025 NFL Draft prospects from every Big 12 team. Are there any players that should be on this list? Let me know in the comments section below. Wait, are you not subscribed yet? Well, do it now. I release content like this all the time and would really appreciate your support. I'm Chase Keller from Chase Keller Journalism, and I will see you all next time.